This is ChangeMakers with Katie Goar, finding the right solutions for the affordable housing community.
This week's ChangeMaker is Oscar Arana, the Interim CEO of the Native American Youth and Family Center, a nonprofit organization that provides culturally specific programs and services to improve the lives of Native American youth and families in the Portland area. Oscar has been with NAYA for over a decade, most recently as the Community Development Director, where he led affordable housing work and brings his wealth of experience in fundraising, communications, strategic planning, and organizational change. Oscar, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thanks for having me.
I have so many things I want to ask you, but let's first start with the 50,000-foot view. Tell us, what is the Native American Youth and Family Center? Where are you located, and what's your mission?
Yeah, so we refer to us as NAYA. NAYA is located in Portland, Oregon. We're an organization that has been around for almost 50 years now. Actually, next year is going to be our 50th anniversary. And the organization came about in the 1970s when parents, they were very concerned about the educational outcomes of their kids. So they came together and organized and started to provide recreational and educational supports for their kids. And, the organization was a volunteer grassroots organization for the first 20 years or so. And it didn't really incorporate as a nonprofit organization until 1994. And since then, NAYA has become this incredible wraparound service organization that provides educational programs. We have a high school. We provide economic development programs and services, cultural programming. We now do affordable housing development, housing services. So we provide a wide range of services to the Native community. Our mission is to enhance the diverse strengths of our youth and families in partnership with the community through cultural identity and education. So it's a very holistic organization. We have about 150 employees, and our annual operating budget is about $20 million.
So what is it that you're doing recreationally or holistically? Give us some of those programming details.
We are based in Northeast Portland in the Cully neighborhood. We actually have a large center, and we have access to, we own our center now, which is really wonderful. We purchased an old school from Portland Public Schools District here. We have about 10 acres in our campus. Basically, it's a center-based model. So our clients come to NAYA. They are greeted by our staff members. They're able to, like I said, they go to our alternative high school. They're able to access our college and career program, our learning center, our summer programs. We're actually about to kick off really robust summer programming for kids in grade school, middle school, high school. We provide a lot of financial wellness education, home ownership classes, a lot of educational programs that happen at our center. And of course, one of the things that's been really exciting is that we've been able to develop 3 affordable housing sites really close to our campus, anywhere from half a mile away to 2 miles. So we've had this really wonderful opportunity over the last 6 years to create housing that is really close to our campus and our center, so that our clients can live in our units and then easily access all the support services that we provide at NAYA.
So let's talk about the details. You are leading several significant affordable housing projects. Share some of those with us, and maybe let's go one by one, because each of these 3 initiatives are so distinctly unique.
Yeah. So the first one is called Nasaika Ilahi, and that has been, that project was already underway when I took the role of Community Development Director. It had, sort of a project team that had already been built, and we were still trying to secure the rest of our funding sources. One of the things that's really unique and interesting about this project, Nasaika Ilahi, which is a Chinook for our place is that it has tribal preference. And it was the first time that we ever had a tribal preference leasing project in the city of Portland. It's probably one of the first in outside of a reservation setting in Oregon and maybe even the Northwest, I think. So what's really interesting is that we partnered with the Siletz tribe, and the Siletz tribe allocated a portion of their Indian Housing Block Grant funding into the project, and by doing so, it allowed us to create a preference to their tribal members. So they created a policy that would allow us to give preference to Siletz tribal members, and then also like a second tier preference that would allow us to provide preference to any member of a federally recognized tribe. So this really kind of created a bit of a game changer for us in terms of being able to serve the clients and the Native community, serve the target population that we're trying to reach. Without a tribal preference, affordable housing becomes still really out of reach for a lot of our clients and our community members. This tribal preference really was a game changer for us in terms of being able to make sure that the leasing was successful. And I think we leased up like 95% of the units were actually to the Native American community.
That really is a historic milestone for not just tribal members and Native families, but it's for Portland and possibly a ripple effect. Any speculation whether this preference is a possible ripple effect to other parts of Oregon or other states?
We certainly hope so. And we did it again, right after this project, and we did it a second time at our next housing project called Mamuk Tokati, which is to make beautiful in Chinook. And the second project is actually just about a mile away from the first project, right? So I think the partners were pretty happy with the outcomes that occurred with Nasaika-Ilahi. So we decided that we'd wanted to do it a second time. So we've done this tribal preference twice now at the city of Portland, and it's definitely come with several challenges. I won't say that it was easy at all. So I can understand why replicating this model can be still pretty challenging. I think that we were just in a pretty unique and sort of special time, and we had some great opportunities that we were able to take advantage of and make these projects successful. But I would say that there was definitely a lot of challenges. The Indian Housing Block Grant source provides, kind of has certain rules that are very different than traditional affordable housing. And, I like to say that the two sources don't like to play well together. So we've actually had to create go out there and raise additional sources to make sure that we could meet the requirements of the Indian Housing Block Grant and be able to house tribal members.
I did some research on the Mamuk Tukati affordable housing project, and it was really unique. You said it means to make beautiful, and that seems like it's symbolic of exactly what is unique about this housing. Tell us about the artist layer here within this community.
Well, as if creating tribal preference wasn't already challenging enough, one of the things that we did with this next project is we also layered another preference, which was an artist preference. So what we were really trying to do was create housing that was affordable for the artist community. I think for Native Americans, art is very important. Cultural art is very important. So we wanted to create a space that would allow folks to come together and practice their culture, practice tradition, create art together. So the building actually has a dedicated art studio. It's about 1,000 square feet on the first floor, and we have dedicated staffing there and resources for folks in the building to come together and create art, share their art, be able to come together and share their traditions or culture. It's really exciting to have that. We also had, we have wonderful paintings and art from indigenous artists throughout the building. Just these wonderful murals that really create a sense of pride for the residents and the community. They create a sense of place, that they belong there, that this is theirs. So we took a lot of care and attention and thought and detail in making sure that all our buildings really actually infuse a lot of indigenous and native art, because in a way they're restorative, they heal the community, and they build a lot of pride.
What an inspiration behind just the design, layout, and how you're making this affordable housing community meet the needs of people. How did that come about? I mean, was this through listening to the community? Was this a person's individual passion for it? I mean, how did that get incorporated?
Every single one of our projects has a very robust community engagement process. It's actually even one of our housing principles, right? Community engagement. We really want to make sure that what we are creating and what we're designing is really going to fit the needs of the Native community and the folks that we're trying to reach. We want to make sure that we don't create housing that, our community members are not going to want to live in. So, we have many focus groups, not just with our clients, but also with our staff members, to make sure that we're designing this the right way and that it's going to make people feel safe. It's going to make people feel like this is where they want to live. So yeah, community engagement is something that we do quite a lot of.
So before we move on to the third community, one question here. Can you describe one of those murals that you were mentioning?
One of the murals that to me is pretty striking is actually on the exterior side of the first project, NAYA Ilahi. And it's an elder woman from the Siletz tribe, and she is smudging. So she has an abalone shell. She is kind of getting ready to do a blessing or prayer. It's a mural by Toma Villa, who is a pretty well-known local Native artist here. But to me, it's special because, it's just a moment of like when you come in, you see that, and you're coming into a very special place. You're coming into a place that really speaks to cultural practices, cultural tradition, and it's a place of where you're just really going to be like, smudging is about cleansing and purifying and feeling healthier. So to me, all of that is really important, particularly because NAYA Ilahi was created to be recovery housing. So we have a lot of folks here who are coming out of drug and alcohol sort of rehabilitation places. So this is a place where we're trying to make sure that the community heals.
Excellent. And just from listening to you describe it, it really does have some kind of presence of its own, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very large mural, and as you're driving on the street, like it's very recognizable. Not just to the residents who are walking into the building, but people who are driving in the neighborhood. So, I've heard a lot of people say that they really love that mural.
So tell us now about the third development that you guys have underway.
Well, the third development in the Cully neighborhood has been completed and been operations for almost a year now. It's called Hayutilixum. It's many nations. This is permanent supportive housing. So 8 of the units in the building are really designed for families coming out of homelessness, for Native families. So one of the things that's been really interesting is through each of these projects, our role, NAYA's role as a developer has been increasing. So our responsibilities connected to each project has grown. And it's important because now, as we move forward into this next, the fourth project, now NAYA is actually leading the development on its own. So that's really important because it gives NAYA an opportunity to be more autonomous and make decisions that are important to our community. So yeah, the third project is, again, really close to NAYA. It has beautiful art throughout the building, outside the building. Yeah.
So the fourth project that you mentioned, what is that one?
So the fourth project that we're currently working on is currently called the Tistillo Village redevelopment. This project is really special because it actually was the first project that got NAYA into affordable housing. So Tistillo Village was developed in the 1970s by a former Native American housing organization called LNAPO, Low Income Housing for Native Americans in Portland, Oregon. So they built this apartment complex, 34 units, and then in 2008, the organization, was going to close its operations, but they wanted to make sure that this asset landed in the hands of a Native American organization. So the organization, LNAPO, and the city actually transferred the assets over to NAYA, and NAYA became the owners and operators of this property in 2008. So NAYA actually got its affordable housing start by just kind of inheriting this asset. And with time, one of the things that has occurred is this was built in the 1970s, so there was a lot of deferred maintenance. It wasn't really ADA compliant. There weren't, these great resident community rooms that we love to have in our projects. So we really were challenged in terms of wanting to do something better with this site. So after a very long process and working with community and even some of the residents, we decided that we were going to redevelop the entire project. So it's complete tear down and building it back up. This is, again, NAYA's first development project as lead developer. So, of course, we had to start with probably one of the most challenging ones. So we're right now in construction, and we are scheduled to complete it next year in August.
Excellent. Do you think the parent organization or elders that first created that NAYA Family Center you were describing, do you think that they envisioned where you guys would be now? And are there people who started the organization who are still with you? Explain some of that to us.
Yeah, we have some staff members who've been around for 20 years, so, long enough since the nonprofit really incorporated. And we do still have some elders who are, original founders of NAYA that are still involved and come to our elders programming, actually. I've heard from, even previous executive directors of the organization that the work that we're doing now, they said, I could not have even envisioned that we could have done something like that. But I like to believe that, sort of this new life that we're giving to this site, to Tistillo Village, I like to believe that we're just really honoring the original vision of the folks who were, working on this in the 1970s. So I want to believe that we are making them proud, and they're going to be really happy with when the site is done.
Well, it's a true seed planting vision. That's evident. And, you've been evolving to meet the changing needs of the Native American community in Portland. So as you celebrate your 50th anniversary next year, you're going to have plenty of things to celebrate. That's evident.
Yeah, we're really excited. By then, we'll probably already have our next CEO, permanent CEO. So we're going to have a really big celebration for our 50th year anniversary.
That is fantastic. And I can't wait to hear more about your programs. But it's time to take a break. Next time on ChangeMakers with Oscar Arana, the interim CEO of the Native American Youth and Family Center, Oscar shares how NAYA is helping the homeless population around Portland.
This family housing program is really meant to serve Native American homeless families. So that program is really providing a lot of the financial resources to get folks into their homes, keep them in their homes. And again, a lot of our portfolio or housing portfolio is actually serving folks that are coming out of homelessness.
Thanks for listening to Changemakers with Katie Goar. To find out more about Katie, go to quadel.com. That's QUADEL.com. This has been a production of Forbes Books Radio.